The White Salmon River is one of the tributaries that are really important to the Yakama Nation, to the Klickitat band, also known as the Wahwaipum band. They're the original people of the White Salmon watershed, and the White Salmon has been, since time immemorial, an important gathering area for many types of first foods. Prior to the construction of the Condit Dam, it was an important tributary for fishing. My name is Elaine Harvey. I decided I wanted to become a fish biologist at a young age to help our salmon, because back in the 80s, it was a rough time for salmon to return to the Columbia, and some years we didn't have a fresh spring Chinook to have our feast. From that day to this day, I decided I wanted to go to school to be a fish biologist and work in the field of fisheries.
The feeling of being on the water is all-consuming, and in those moments where I'm paddling something hard or easy, it's all I'm thinking about. Whether I'm floating on flat water and just staring up at the sky, or paddling super hard class 5, I'm all invested, and it takes all of my energy and brain, and I love that. My name is Rose Triolo, and I am a whitewater kayaker. I grew up rafting with my family, so I kind of don't remember a time in my life where rivers weren't a huge part of what I did with my family. Junior year of college, I came down. I was going to school in Tacoma, Washington, and I was kayaking a lot and came down, and there was a whitewater race on the White Salmon, and I got to learn alongside some of the most incredible people I've ever met.
My name is Jezorek, and I'm a fish biologist with the U.S. Geological Survey Columbia River Research Laboratory, and have worked in the white salmon on and off both before and after Condit Dam removal. There's a number of special things about the white salmon. Leads to a lot of habitat diversity and diversity in fish and their life history attributes. It's a watershed that maintains cold quality water all throughout the summertime. Important for both fish and for recreation. Since dam removal, one of the unique things is that the fish recolonization in the white salmon has been strictly natural. There has not been any hatchery inputs or supplementation. Following dam removal, we've done some assessments of distribution and population levels of juvenile fish in the river and have documented steelhead, coho, and Chinook successfully using the river upstream of the former dam site, using some of the tributaries and producing viable smolts heading out to sea.
Since the Condit Dam has been removed over 10 years ago, the tribe's working to conserve lands along the White Salmon River to protect those lands from development. I'm hoping as recreationalists of our river systems, that they could be allies to our conservation efforts that we put forward. So Yakama Nation has done some restoration along the banks of the White Salmon River at Northwestern Park and down near the confluence where they did habitat restoration. And we see that those trees have grown and the wildlife are using those areas that have been restored in the watershed for fish. And that's the end goal, is to provide that habitat for more fish to return so that we can have a tribal fishery again.
The gorge is a really unique place for kayaking because it offers such a wide variety of kayaking in such a small area. We have beautiful class 2, some of the most quality class 5 you can find in North America, and so many people here who kayak, and it's year-round. If you are willing to be very cold in the winter, you can find some phenomenal kayaking. And the gorge in particular has a huge community of badass female paddlers that I am so privileged to be a part of. I think that there is an aspect of being a high performance female in any sport, just because even though there are more and more women in these sports that are absolutely crushing it, statistically speaking, we still don't make up 50% of those athletes. I mean, that's changed even since I really started paddling. We always had this kind of smaller core group of women out there, and I have watched that community grow tenfold just in the last 5 to 10 years.
I think that the tribes have been the original stewards of the land since time immemorial. And I feel like all the people who come either to recreate or to live in our areas, our tributaries, on the Columbia Gorge, I feel like we all have that responsibility of stewarding the land for the future generations so that they can enjoy what we enjoy today. I would like to see more of our Native women folk join the field of science, being representatives in wildlife and environmental science, fisheries, or even being on the water in kayaks or canoes, because in the plateau tradition, our people were canoe people. And so my great-grandfather was a canoe maker, and prior to colonization and settlement, our people utilized canoes to travel. That's another goal of mine, is getting our youth back on the river.
And I think it's critically important to have people engaged in the watershed, using the watershed and fostering a sense of care about the watershed. Some of the whitewater community has helped out Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, and there may be some opportunities for that. Currently, there's some spawning surveys going on for steelhead and coho salmon, a cooperative effort between Trout Unlimited and Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, and they're using local volunteers. So getting in touch with either of those organizations could get you involved in that, and that are always looking for public input and participation.
I think moving forward, I would love to see more people kayaking out here. There are some really cool programs, Diversify Whitewater and the Columbia Gorge Kayak program, that are bringing kind of younger kids and just a wide variety of people into the sport. Historically, especially, I mean, speaking about kayaking or any of these sports, they're expensive and they're hard to get into, and they're super niche. So finding the people and finding the gear to do that can be really hard. Kayaking is a vehicle to get you to places that pretty much nobody else can get to because of the terrain. And the more people that can get to those places, the more people that will realize just how truly amazing this place is.
The health of the watershed is the health of our bodies, as well as the environment and all that lives within it. It's up to us to collaborate, to work together to find the best solutions for a healthy environment so that all future generations could also enjoy cold water. They can enjoy the birds, the wildlife out there, and the fish, and even the Columbia River.